the big story, I feel like that it's dominated in the past couple weeks, and I'll love to get, Frisian's kind of unfiltered talks on it as always. But ETF has kind of dominated the news. I think the thing can't get over on it all, because I feel like we've been talking about the ETF forever, but just the shit show and the debacle around will they, won't they, tweeting it out, saying their account got hacked, but it actually didn't get hacked, but they never actually came out and said it wasn't hacked. They didn't walk it back. But at the end of the day, ETF gets approved, or Bitcoin spot ETF gets approved, and is trading on a lot of the main trading platforms in the US, except for Vanguard, RIP Vanguard. Frisian, thoughts on just the frothiness of it all and the craziness of it all the past week? We were all, and just all, basically the entire Tally team was packed into a van in some random Costa Rican town when we got the news about the ETF getting passed, not getting, or getting approved, not getting approved, and then the next day getting approved again. Thoughts on it all? Thoughts on our boy Gary?
Yeah, it's so funny how he's they were clearly going to approve it, and then just they couldn't even manage the comms process of announcing it on the correct date and time, which then moved markets. It's apparently they've sued companies before for having poor Twitter two-factor authentication practices, leading to account hacks, which affected the price of the stock. It's wow, okay, it literally happened to you. Who sues the SEC? Crazy, man. But yeah, it's out. It feels like the launch has gone really well. I'm not a TradFi person. So I don't know a lot about ETF flows and stuff like that. But the people who do track ETFs seem really enthused by the amount of volume that has come through. There's a bunch of products, there's 12 or more companies that successfully had a Bitcoin ETF, spot Bitcoin ETF approved, and several of them are getting a significant amount of volume, which I think is just really awesome for the space, because it just penetrates crypto into one more part of the world where it's really difficult to access. I think it's very simplistic to think about the ETF as just now you can buy it on not Vanguard, because they were no, you can't buy Bitcoin ETF on Vanguard, but on Fidelity, right, which is incredibly popular product that many people use in the US. Yeah, that's true, but I don't know how many people incrementally are just gonna immediately start buying Bitcoin just because they can buy it on Fidelity. The more important part is that there's all these people who exist in the space between the asset and the end user, right? Financial advisors and Fidelity account managers and ETF salespeople and blah, 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 right? And basically they all now have an incentive to sell people crypto, literally. And so you've seen these super high dollar commercials. In the bear market, it was only Coinbase making really high quality crypto commercials, but now Van Eck is making these, and Bitwise are making these really good commercials, about the value prop of crypto. And you can see there sort of salespeople and financial advisors and account managers, et cetera, are all I'm not saying they're just going around shilling Bitcoin, although if you watch the commercials, that's exactly what they're doing. But they're able to recommend it, right, as one thing to add to your diversified portfolio. I know you guys don't know what that is, but looking at UCHG, but your diversified portfolio, of assets, which is really powerful. I made an estate plan, because I had a child and I'm an incredible boomer, and I want to have control over what happens if anything happens to me, and the attorney I was working with, they just can't really do anything with Coinbase. Is basically just going to go into, receivership basically, or go into, the state process, you can't actually put Coinbase assets really into a trust, right? This is some incredibly high level boomership, but that's really, there's a lot of people who just won't even consider using buying something on Coinbase for that reason. And certainly their financial advisor is not going to somehow recommend that they buy something on Coinbase if they can't even include it in the estate plan, which is a very basic thing that people who are not degenerates do. So so yeah. Anyway, yeah, I think it's really awesome. I'm stoked.
Yeah, prices have been relatively unaffected. I think something we've always talked about on DAO Talk, or something I've learned from Frisian, is you're kind of trading the narrative or the announcement in the months and then however long beforehand. It's kind of baked in, like it's all narratives, and CT is terminally online, so usually price action is pretty much traded or priced in leading up into it. So there's been a ton of action, but it's been more so in the action in the streets of the collective mind share of Twitter and TradFi. Haven't gotten a lot of chirping from my normie friends, so that's been interesting. CSU, I didn't mean to cut you off. What were you going to say?
No, I'm just saying my parents are, the vibes are getting better about crypto. The last mega crypto thing they heard about is SBF. So, and that's obviously so negative and horrible. So them hearing about this, if Gary Gensler thinks it's legit, then my parents are definitely more likely to think it's legit, sadly. But realistically, and that's probably the story for so many people. So I think it's also part of not just at the micro financial advisors, but also think about how much more money and also mega inflow is going to come into crypto.